Hello, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Irina and we are going to talk about Aju Winter because in the past 2 days, I just spent around like 6 hours of my life watching videos about this girl and her work. And I have some things to say about it. Let me just close the window. There's a TikTok that I found that this person gives an incredible timeline to this girl's life. Basically, I will link the TikTok down below, but basically, this Aju Winter girl is 22 years old, author, and she's been in the writing realm for over 10 years now. This is a pen name of hers, and that doesn't really matter in the story. She is 22 years old. And this comes back to the story. She's 22 years old, and she's been working on this specific world and this book since she was 12. So she's been working on this over a decade. And according her words, not mine, she is a master at writing because she has completed 10,000 hours of mastery work, the experience in said field. So she's the master in her craft. Before she blew up, she was trying to get like crowdfunding. She was making Kickstarter, and she got dropped of her agent, and then she decided to self-publish, and started utilizing TikTok shop for her advantage, which worked perfectly. And she all of a sudden, from asking for donations, she went into being a full-time content creator, 6-figure content creator in a matter of months, I guess, maybe even less. And now she's running this whole studio, and she has all these artists, her payroll, or I don't know, she's maybe contracting them. But she has like 15, 16, she doesn't even know the number of artists that is working for her. And she has employed people from all over the country, all over the world, like 10 plus countries, which is good and dandy and all. Where I had problems with her was when she started replying to the Backlash. She publishes the book. She gets crazy amount of pre-orders and she ships them out. And slowly the reviews start to come back. I'm gonna show a video of her that she posted 16-minute long video on her TikTok. I didn't even know you could do that. I thought 10 minutes were the max. But, well, anyways, we're gonna watch a video, and I have some things to say to her specifically, but also to the general public. Before all of that, before watching her response, I was like, oh, that's sad that she's been working on a thing like her craft for so many years, and now people don't like it. But when you see how she approaches her work, it's like, are you even an author at this point? She's been working on this for 10 years, and she's been in the publishing field for all of her life, basically, all of her like adult life. Out of all the people, she's supposed to know what she's doing. And the moment she like gained traction and started to make money, now her account is Audra Writes the World of Guardian LLC. Like, she started the company, the studio, which I appreciate how passionate she is, and I applaud her. She went there. She started the company. She took things into her hands, but at the same time, girl, maybe slow down because you can't really handle this. And to be honest, writing a book, not that I know much about it, but I do follow a lot of authors on YouTube, just because like the day-to-day life of an author, like author who is solely working on their book, day-to-day life of that person is interesting to me. Off the top of my head, no, Sarah Lobret Sincerely V, Kate Kavanaugh. There's this other girl. She writes fantasy as well. I'm blanking on her name right now. She does web design on the side to support herself, but also she has this. Anyway, like I follow a bunch of authors, and it is interesting to me to see how their work process is, because I'm an artist. I start a project, I draw, and more often than not, it's just done in one day. And it is baffling to me how you have to work on a singular project for months, maybe even years. It's just baffling. I think that takes a lot of patience, and that cannot be me. Reader, I'm new to reading. It's been like 3.5 years. Before then, I'm dyslexic and I have self-diagnosed ADD. It was extremely hard for me to focus and read a singular book. And I got into reading because of audiobooks. Because I started using audiobooks, I liked reading. Now I force myself to read, but at the same time, still, I will always prefer to read the audiobook than a physical book because my dyslexia isn't going anywhere. All that to say is I have never attempted to write a book. I have no interest in writing a book, but I do know a little bit from what the authors have shown on AuthorTube. I know for a fact that it's not easy to write a book, and I applaud her because she's been working on the same project for 10 fucking years. Cannot be me. Again, cannot be me. Good job. Just because you've been working on it for 10 plus years and supposedly you have 10,000 hours, so you are the master of it, it doesn't work like that. For those who don't know, you write a draft. More often than not, the people I watch, they write draft 0. They went so far back. You're supposed to write your draft and then do the edits. So the draft 2, draft 3, draft 5. The authors I watch, they do draft 0. They just went one step backwards so that they could polish their work even more. Anyways, this is just crazy to me. I cannot comprehend, because I would rather I would let that project go and start over, which I feel like what Audra Winter did. I watched so many videos, and I don't know, and she does post so many videos. If I can find it, I'll put it here. But if you don't believe me, you can go find the thing verbatim on her TikTok as well. She mentioned that when she gets an edit, she starts the book from 0. She scratches everything and starts from 0, which is not how editing works. You don't edit a book like that. Once you delete everything and start writing again, that becomes your draft again, draft number 1. Even though you have the idea, you're writing it for the first time, that is a draft still. So when the edits come, you need to work on that specific part of it. You don't just delete everything. Because another reason that I cannot be a writer is that you have to reread your work so many times. Because when you're writing, you will inevitably forget that you have mentioned this before, 5 pages ago, you have mentioned it. You will forget about it. Or you will miss some facts, explain something in one way and then forget about it and explain it, try to come up with a different way to explain the same phenomena, which is usual, which can happen in fantasy books, which is what she's doing. She's writing sci-fi thing. And when she starts writing all over again, that becomes, again, a draft 1, or maybe draft 2, you could say, because you've gone through the whole thing. I don't know. But you're not doing the, English part of the edits. You're not editing the, editorial edits. Is the line edit? There are so many people who are better at explaining what went wrong with this book. But I, as an artist, have more to say. So I'm gonna just shut up about the artist, the author part of it, because I know shit about it. I'm gonna talk about the artist side of it. So this girl hired like 10 plus people to draw her world. One might wonder why she isn't doing a graphic novel at this point. And I think she said that she's gonna do like multimedia, whatever, like she wants to have everything. And I mean everything, which is like, again, I appreciate your passion. I applaud your enthusiasm, which sounds patronizing. I'm sorry, I don't mean to patronize. But this is way too much, way too early. I just cannot see a world that is possible without losing some quality. So yeah, in my opinion, she's doing too much, too early. You have to know that at first people like your stuff, and then you can go ahead and hire people. You know, I have seen a lot of artists draw characters on their own. They just draw fan art of the characters. And I've seen some of those characters get shared by the authors themselves. So it is like let the author see them, and if they like it or whatever, like if they have the same vision, I guess they shared it, whatever. What I don't understand is that this girl, like, why would you hire people just to make it multimedia? Like, okay, I have a huge imposter syndrome. When people are so secure in their work, like they have no doubts, I feel a tinge of jealousy, not gonna lie. I wish I was like that. But at the same time, I'm amazed how like secure they are in their own work. Like, I don't even know how else to explain it. She loves her world and her characters so much that she was sure that this world is gonna do well. So she wants to turn it into a multimedia. She wants to have their own like graphic novel or whatever. Good for you for believing in yourself that much. But let's start with the book first. If it does well, people will show interest, and then you could do the next couple media things. That is my opinion. That is what I think should be happening. But what do I know? Maybe in the publishing sense, that makes more sense to have the hype. But is this the thing? Is it worth it though? The thing that she's supposed to do is to write a book, a finished book, not half-baked, not half edited, a finished book. She's supposed to write a finished book, and then you can send all your freebies. You can have your characters and then graphic novel, whatever you want to have. You can have all of those after you're done with your actual work as a writer, as an author. You need to have a finished book. I feel, and her marketing has been like, oh, I used so many editors, blah, blah. Did you take the advice into consideration? Because it feels like you haven't. And then after all the backlash, she comes and says, oh, I'm gonna hire an editor from the comment section, like from the audience, not comment section, from her audience. Girl, you don't need all of that. You need like actual editor editing your work and you applying those edits to your work. And I feel like she's too protective of her characters and her worlds. Whatever the changes editors or like readers suggest her, she doesn't want to do because she is attached to her work. This is what comes across. She hasn't said that word for word. That's what comes across to me. And I get that. I do. Like sometimes I make a design and somebody suggests a change and I'm like, no, I don't want to part with my design. I totally get that, but that is to everyone's detriment. Like, they are giving their feedback, and sometimes it's good to listen to the feedback. And I feel like she's kind of person that doesn't know how to do that, which is, I don't know, it's sad in a sense. Now let's listen to this 16-minute long video. The top comment says, can we please normalize getting to the point? Which, that is a great comment for a 16-minute long video.
I have lived through the worst week of my life because of it in the past week. And I just wanted to come on here and talk about it, and be genuine and express the things that I have been through in the past week, because I'm literally living through my worst nightmare and my biggest heartbreak. If you're not familiar, I have spent a very long time working on this world that I started building when I was 12, and I'm 22 now. And throughout that time.
Okay. I am, sadly, unfortunately, I have to say this. Her world is about like politics and like sci-fi. Whatever world you started to build at 12, I don't think you know much about politics when you're 12. Maybe she means that she started building how the world works. I mean, again, you're 12. You're 12, and unless you're a prodigy, what's that word? Unless you're like the genius of all your kind, a world that you created at 12, it has to go through so many changes for that to hold up in this day and age. I hope you see what I'm getting at, because first of all, even 5 years ago, world before pandemic, even like everybody's mindset changed even after pandemic. So 10 years ago, I will say it was so much easier to live in this world 10 years ago than now, especially when you talk about when you bring politics into it. But the world through the eyes of a 12-year-old, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. And there were comments on her Goodreads page, and people were saying that this feels like it's been written by a 12-year-old person. It feels like she hasn't grown. I haven't read the book, so I've seen a few pages, and I do not like what I see. And I'm not harsh critic when it comes to writing style, because what the hell do I know about that? I don't criticize that part harshly. What I do criticize harshly is if the character isn't developed well, if the plot is bullshit. Like, I will talk hours on end if the plot is bullshit, if the characters, there's no character or whatever. I will talk about that because that's what I know how to talk about. Because I've watched movies, I've analyzed TV shows, I know how a well-told story is supposed to make me feel. I know how it is. But when it comes to like writing, for example, people saying like, oh, Colleen Hoover's writing is BS, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know because I don't know. Like, obviously, hers and Frida McFadden, their writing is really easy to understand. So I see the difference, but I cannot analyze it. Maybe if I sit down and put some mind into it and analyze it, I would have seen. But that's not my job. That's not my job to edit a book. That's not my job, so I don't care about. So when people talk about how not developed when it comes to like edits, I wouldn't know. And yesterday I was watching a video, like randomly came across this new author that I actually subscribed. She was reading through her first chapter, and she said, oh, I need to improve this part and that part. And I specifically sat for like 30 minutes to watch that whole video to see how an editing process goes, because I have no idea. I only read the latest finalized version of it, so I don't know how many iterations a book, a paragraph goes through before I read it as a consumer. So anyways, I watched it and I'm like, oh, this is a great writing to me. Like, you don't even publish this. This is amazing. But that's to me. To an author, there's so much more to make changes, so much more. From an artist's point of view, I see like your craft, you can always improve it. It's never done until you close it. It's never done. You can always improve it. So just because I don't know how to improve a writing doesn't mean it's really good. I understand that, but I wish Audra would understand that. I'm sorry, but if this many people say this is poorly edited, it must be poorly edited. And with my lack of knowledge in editing, I spotted 2 problems like this. That's on you. Like, that's on your lack of editing, because I lack the knowledge to notice edits that you shouldn't have on a final book. I should not notice that. If I notice it, you really have done a poor job. And her being 22 also, let me just quickly comment on that as well. People are saying, oh, you guys are being so harsh on her, she's 22. So what? So what? She is the one who keeps going, I have the experience of a master level because I have spent, she actually did the math, showing us she's been working on this book 3+ hours every single day. This puts her beyond the mastery level, blah, blah. Girl, where? Show me where. I'm sorry. When you're defending yourself that much and doing it with like this smirk on your face, people don't like that. People actually start to hate when you do that. So maybe stop doing that. That's first and foremost. Also, it doesn't matter how much time you spent on one thing. If you're not working on it to improve, if you're like doing everything from scratch, starting everything from scratch and not improving on it, like, where's the mastery? It doesn't matter how much you've worked on. I don't know how to get through that point. I don't know. Anyways, to the commenters, her being 22, that means nothing to me. Like, her being young, that means nothing to me. And to her, Audra herself, if you wanna ride on the high of your community, maybe pipe it down. Maybe don't come at your community. So there are still some people who would support you. That's just ridiculous, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. But what do I know?
Throughout that time, it is the only thing that has stayed consistent in my life. It is the only thing that I have been able to lean on every single night and say, hey, at the end of the day, I have this and I have these stories. And even if nobody else in the world likes it, I do. And I like telling these stories. Now, I hope that other people will like it, and I would love for it to bring the same joy to other people that it brought to me. And it means a lot to me. This is not just a hobby. It is a passion. It is quite literally my entire life now. As in, right now I'm sitting in my room. That is my bed next to me where I sleep, and right outside of there is my office. This is my desk that I write at. I have no escape from this, and I don't need an escape from it because it does matter to me this much. This has been the thing in this world and these stories that when I have gone through the worst parts of my life, I could look over and say, well, I have this, and I have this world, and I can't die yet before I publish this and before other people can see it, because I've worked on it this much. I would really like other people to enjoy it. I would like other people to share this world that has saved my life. It is bizarre to see your will to live come alive in front of your eyes, and I started to see that back in April when I put up a pre-order listing for this book. Did not think I would sell more than 100 copies, quite honestly, and once again I posted that pre-order listing and it took off. I didn't know what to do. I was shocked. At this time, I had started to build like a team of artists, but it was informal at first because I was like, well, all these people are working on different things for the series and I might as well put them in one group. And that is what I ended up doing with all the money that came in from this book. I ended up creating a studio, a whole creative studio with this, because I decided that rather the artists that I had brought together and the artists that I saw that were bonding over these stories that I had created, people who were falling in love with this world and with these characters as much as I did in the very beginning. And I thought that was beautiful. I had, for the first time, a sense of understanding. I've kind of gone my entire life having this as such a core, fundamental part of me, and to be able to finally be recognized and let this become who I am was incredible. Even like getting on.
I will say the art is beautiful. Oh, like some in particular that I love, and all of them are beautiful. And yeah, again, like some that like I want to be when I grow up as an artist. But she just said, like, making this her identity. This is the worst thing you can do as an artist. And artist, I mean like form of an art. Every artist in a creative field is at some point is going to relate their worth and identity to their art. And we are actively trying not to do that. We are trying to not be attached to our art just to save our own mental health. This is just this is just something that you should not be doing. And she's taking pride in doing that, like making this her identity. I'm sorry, but just because you've been working on one thing and one thing alone for most of your conscious life doesn't mean that it is, I'm gonna word my sentence a little bit nicer. You as an artist always know that your work could always improve. Like there is no end to it. And us as people always are improving. Like there is no, oh, I'm done, this is my final form. There is nothing like that. So I understand, but at the same time, you cannot, for your own sanity, you cannot attach your self-worth as an artist to your art. It is just counterproductive to do that because you're gonna get burnt out. Your art is never be good enough for you. I mean, for people like me, but I guess for people like her art is already the best thing has ever happened to this world. I don't know.
On TikTok and talking about it, a lot of times I get a lot of comments that are like, how did you market it like this? And my genuine answer to that is I don't know. I get on here and I talk about what I've done to get to this point and the different things that I love about it. It carried me far enough to get that many sales and to get that many. And I had the sense of understanding that I had never felt in my life before. And it was moving. It was shocking. It was moving. It was the amount of emotions that I was just thrown into in a short period of time, from the time that I listed that pre-order and the time that I established an LLC was 2 weeks. All of a sudden I was going into attorneys and I was like, what do I do? Like, I was not expecting this to happen. And I think I want to build a business off of this. Like, I want to keep being an entrepreneur. I want to put everything that I have, now that I have this, let's put it into this, because this is what I want to live the rest of my life around. I ended up...
She made this studio in 2 weeks. Like, she went viralish, like she got all that money and she decided that she's gonna run a business. She wants to be an entrepreneur. Again, I understand and I appreciate the passion, but this is too much in too little time. And you're 22, you barely know about the real world. Like, I wish I have this confidence. I wish I had this confidence in myself. I don't know. And I understand that she knows what she wants to do with her life. But you cannot attach yourself, your whole world, into one thing, because businesses fail. And there could be some people that say that, oh, I don't start with the mindset that it's gonna fail. I start with the mindset that it's gonna do well and I'm gonna succeed. Good job. But at the same time, think about the other parts as well, because as she said, this is her worst nightmare. Like, how do you not, like, my anxiety, my inner warrior cannot comprehend how you cannot think about the worst possible scenario. Like, how I am, like, yesterday, literally yesterday, I was this close to having an anxiety attack for something that has like 1% possibility of happening. I'm thinking about it and I'm getting the things again. Like, how are you so sure that it's gonna do well and you're planning your whole life around one singular business? What if it fails? What if it doesn't go well? Like, how are you so sure? I want this confidence. I want like smidgen of this confidence in myself, in my life, in my art. I'm getting, like, I'm jealous. Like, this is me crashing out because I'm jealous of this confidence. This level of confidence, I'm jealous. I wish I had that confidence.
I ended up in late June, early July, packing and shipping and signing 5,000 books with a very small team, literally with my parents and 3 other people. Sarah, if you're watching this, I really appreciate you. In the last month, I've experienced more fear than I ever have in my entire life. That fear, surrounded the fact that I had put every single thing in me into this book. Every single thing.
Okay, there's a huge text on the screen. Up to this point, I wrote multiple books. I had beta readers. I was in critique groups. I have completed a creative writing minor. I have attended conferences. I have written every single day since I was 12. I have been contracted by a literary agency and worked with developmental editors there. I made the choice to go independent when my literary agency dropped all their sci-fi fantasy writers. I could have found a new agent, but I was ready to share my story. Then I hired 2 skilled industry editors, both developmental and copy. I listened. I spent hours revising and changing. I wrote pages upon pages of changes from editorial notes. I got on a call with my editor. I discussed them. I changed more. I looked at and incorporated my copy editor's suggestions. Did you? I paid 2 proofreaders. I proofread. I had a team that I loved it. That understood, which is a point that she keeps making, that you don't get my art. I marketed that I wanted to break away from the industry I felt trapped under. I wrote different. I wrote to tell a story. I wrote as an art. And I tried my very best to convey to readers that I knew my writing was different. She keeps pulling out her neurodivergent card. I'm not gonna hold anybody's hand when I say this. Just because you're neurodivergent doesn't mean you get to write in however you want and people are not allowed to critique you. Half the world is, let me see the stats. How many, this is the worst part of neurodivergent community. Like, I am not on the statistics, but like everybody around me, like I literally do not know a singular person that you cannot put on the neurodivergent scale. Every single person I know like the normal neurotypical people, where are they? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Where are the neurotypical people? I don't know. Approximately 15 to 20% of the population is estimated to be neurodivergent. This includes individuals with conditions like autism, ADHD, dyslexia, and other neurological or developmental differences. The remaining majority of the population, around 80-85%, is considered neurotypical, meaning their brain functions are considered standard. I have not been diagnosed, but I've always had problems compared to my peers at school. Like like I never could understand what I couldn't read. And like couldn't comprehend as well. I do struggle when it comes to reading and comprehending at the same time. I saw that the majority, like I didn't even realize if anybody else was having those problems. I thought I was dumb when I was at school. I thought I was dumb because I couldn't comprehend what I was reading. I would have to read out loud to understand. I would have to reread every single sentence. In my previous video, like you could see live happening, my dyslexia. You could see my dyslexia going like full force on the video I posted. I missed the whole line of text and then I was like, we are missing context. I fucked it up. I missed the fucking sentence. And through all that editing, I never even noticed that I've missed the whole fucking line. That has been the problem my whole life with my dyslexia, and that is why that was the reason why I have not been able to read books, because I keep missing the lines. All that to say that I get it. But at the same time, that is not a clutch. We find a way to work around it. We find a way to work around it. When I say like, where are the neurotypical people? I don't mean that they don't exist. Obviously they do exist. Like I have lived through that. Obviously I know that they do exist, and this is why it is a standard. They are the majority. But right now, with the different neurological or developmental differences come up, that we can see a lot of people actually do fall under the neurodivergent umbrella. If you're marketing to that audience, you cannot blame them for not understanding. You know for a fucking fact that we are having difficulties understanding a normal text as it is. And now you have this another layer of your neurodivergency added to it. Like, if I don't understand, I'm sorry, but I don't have to jump through the hoops to understand how you live your life. Just because you write different doesn't mean that I am in the wrong for not understanding. I am having difficulties understanding the easy sentences as it is. I'm sorry, but it is, I'm sorry for being dyslexic, I guess. I don't know what else to say. Anyways, let's continue.
Every single thing. And it is terrifying to ship 5,000 of these out to that many people at once, all receiving this highly anticipated, talked about thing. I've been on TikTok since 2018. I was there for hit or miss. I know that a lot of times, especially with like certain medias and creative, avenues, it takes one negative video to spin it out of control. I actually had to go back to Kansas because I was becoming so unhealthy. I wasn't eating, and quite honestly, I'm still not. I had to go back to my parents because they were concerned about me. Everybody else was concerned about me.
She is making some concerning statements here, such as like, I won't die until this book is published, or like see success, whatever. Like I stopped eating, I'm not eating. Your mental health and how you take care of yourself is not the responsibility of your viewers. And if that makes you feel alone in the world, sorry, tough luck. We all do. We all feel alone at some point in our lives. And that is when you lean on your close friends and family, not go on the internet and blame everybody for criticizing your work. And it's not even hating, it's just criticism, which is valid. Like, people paid money to consume your book, and people have been invested in your journey, believing in you blindly, I guess, and they've been rooting for you. And now they see that you don't. I feel like I'm gonna be rude, so I'm gonna just shut the fuck up and let her continue. But again, your mental health is nobody's responsibility. You cannot be helped if you don't want to be helped. That is the main reason why your mental health is nobody's responsibility. You need to want to get well first. Unless you do so, nobody else has any power to do anything. Anyway.
Concerned about me because everybody in my personal circle knows that this is like everything to me. A couple days ago, I was up early and I was scrolling through my For You page. I unfortunately came across a video of another author talking about me. I felt something change in me that moment. The amount of like heart dropping that I felt while watching that video will stick with me forever. And
I watched the author that she's talking about. He did not say anything actually mean. He was saying, like, he was making actual criticism, like constructive criticism, and he did not mention her name. He did not mention anything. People just figured it out. And the amount of heart drops that was happening, I'm sorry, you're 22. You're gonna have so many of those moments in your life, which is exactly why you do not attach your whole life into one project. And if you do, you need help. There's no other way to see it. You cannot do that. There's always going to be, like, imagine this all worked well. Everybody would like it. Like, everybody was having fun. Like, everybody was giving it like 5 stars, whatever. There's always going to be a person that's going to give it 1 star. From what I see is that she is that kind of person who will focus on that one singular 1 star. I hope she isn't. I hope, I hope she comes back from all of this and she does so well for herself. She gets successful and she never focuses on the negativity. I hope that everybody's mental health goes in a positive direction. But again, you need to want the best for yourself. You cannot focus on the bad things and then cry us a river. Like, you cannot just do that. I hate it.
In these comments, and there's tons of people all going, I was worried about this video was about me until you said these numbers. I just sat there for a little bit and went, how can you say that you were worried that it would be you, and then proceed to turn around and say that about another author? When I saw that video, I closed out the app and I went to my studio space and I said I'm fucked. Up until this point, I had very positive reader reception. I was staying aware of what people were saying, and it was way more positive than negative. When I saw this video and I saw the things that were being said, I knew, and literally within hours, I was getting dozens of comments with pure hatred. Literally hearing some of the hardest things that I've ever been told in my life. Hearing from lots of people that you're a bad writer. Hearing from lots of people with no other thoughts other than saying that it reads like it was written by a 12-year-old, that it reads like it was middle school, that surely I was being a scam and I was doing this to scam people. It was the worst thing they ever read. I don't even want to say some of the things that I had heard, and I was getting harassed by certain people that were going on to every single one of my—
I also had the text that I've been doxxed because of this situation. I guess it goes without saying that it is never okay to dox people. What is wrong with you if you're doing that? And I have nothing else to say, but shame on you whoever thinks that is okay and does that.
Every single one of my videos and commenting these nasty, really concerning, nasty things that were not constructive criticism. Here I am being told by dozens of people, all at once, the hardest things that I have ever heard in my life. The biggest fears that I have, things that impacted me so much, I didn't know what to do. I turned to my team and I was like, I'm carrying all these people, these 20 people that I've hired as contractors and employees, and I failed them. I did something wrong. At first, it was—
She's like, I failed them. Nobody, I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but nobody asked you for an artist's art, visual art. Nobody asked you. And if you're contracted, if they are contracted, and the contract, the contract ends and they're not dependent on you. I don't know why this is a point of issue. Everybody's issue with you as an author is your writing, not everybody loves the art. I have not seen a singular person that talks shit about the art. Everybody loves it. I'm sorry that you attach your self-worth to your work, which you should not even be doing that, but nobody is talking about the art. Everybody is criticizing your work. The problem is your work, not the art. People nobody asked you to employ any artist, and you did not fail them. Nobody cares.
Failed them. I did something wrong. At first, it was I can't tell what I did wrong because I felt like I had done everything right up to that point. I had hired editors. I had done everything that I could to my best ability because I am one person. I've never been at a mental low than I have this past week. People commenting things like, you're saying this is affecting your safety? To which my answer is, it was affecting my safety. It literally felt like I was being crushed by the world. I have never experienced heartbreak to that level. I have never experienced fear to that level. What do I do? How do I respond to these people who are being obviously aggressive? Because if I delete comments, people are gonna get mad at me. If I block people, people are gonna get mad at me. So how do I deal with being harassed? I'm still unhealthy from this. I'm still living in fear. Barely eaten anything in the past 5 days because this does mean this much to me. The worst thing that I can be told is it's a scam. It's a market. It's a market tactic, and it's all just, she got you all. There is something that cannot be more painful than knowing that you did everything that you possibly could and still not being good enough. I had that sense of understanding and it slipped away from my fingers in a matter of hours. I couldn't handle it. I don't even know how to express this as to how much this impacted me. And I'm sure that I'll get comments on this video of you're too sensitive, you need to back away from your craft, and that's not what it's about for me. I can't. I have never been able to.
What? First of all, you need to get away from the social media and you do need to put away your work. I'm sorry, but you have to. You have to. Like, this is doing nobody any good. And saying that, oh, my safety is in danger, you are doing that to yourself. I'm sorry, you're doing that to yourself. You need to get away from this. You need to detach yourself from your work, your self-worth from your work. This is not okay. And blaming people who criticize you for your work, like blaming people for your low mental health, sorry, but no.
To in my life, because I love this project and I love these people that I have hired as employees, but really these are people that I talk to every single day and bond with and have fun with these characters and these, you know, and building this much bigger project, better than anything I ever could have imagined, where I felt seen and I felt heard, and there's people working on this with me, and that's all I've ever wanted for a very long time. And so
there's a comment that, girl, just make a board game. I agree. This world seems like a huge world that has so many layers to it and so many characters. Just make a board game. Yeah, I totally agree.
And so also the terror of, am I going to lose this all? Especially when you are constantly getting comments that are like, it stops here, you're done. Like, you're not recovering from this. For a little bit, I thought that was true.
She can recover from this if she just keeps her mouth shut. I'm sorry, but she's just so irritating. I don't know if anybody else gets this negative vibes from her, but I do. And I don't know. I just don't like the vibes.
It felt like the world was crushing me and that there was absolutely nothing I could do, and it was the end of the line. And I couldn't see my life going back without this and without these things. I picked myself back up and I said, I'm doing everything that I can fucking possibly can to pull out of this, because I love the story and I love what I've created. I love the inspiration that I've given to people. I'm gonna make it right. I think I have lived through the worst fear that I have had throughout my entire life. For like half my life, I've lived through it and I'm done. I've had this experience and now I can move on. Now I can get up and I can go back at it stronger, and I can rebrand and do all these things and go at it with as much passion as I possibly can. Literally created this like entire company and creative studio around this, like as the start. So I said, you know what? We're gonna go for it.
There's a text I'm going to read. I got on a call with my team for close to 5 hours brainstorming ways to make this right. We decided on our core team devoting all our time to revising and strengthening. We decided to do a search from my page for a copy editor and proofer, because we have so many experts in our community and I want to listen to my readers. We decided to release new revised chapters on Patreon for free to regain trust from our audience. All of this should stay behind closed doors. This, not to keep it secret, but this much of open talk is not good. Like, you know, I don't know, one of the videos I watched, they said, readers should not see your unedited work. I think it's my cat, sorry. This cat, Nala, doesn't like jumping. So the balcony door was closed, but the window is always open. She can come through the window every single time, like whenever she wants, but she doesn't like jumping. So she was crying for me to get her. Anyways, as I was saying, author that I was watching on YouTube about this phenomena, he was saying that your readers should not see your edits. Unedited work, they should not be seeing those, because like it takes away the magic, which I I understand. And I totally agree. And when she says, "Oh, we're gonna post our progress on Patreon to keep it real," honestly, just deliver a good work. Like you don't need to jump through all of these hoops if you just do your job as an author.
Start working on this, and we're already all building like the rest of the series together. Let's go back and do it again. I'm trying to do every single thing we can, right? And from this point on, I've also learned some personal lessons. I had responded to people and been like, no, I have editors. Like, I have hired these people. I have done these things. Why is this information being like spread about me? Or people who were going after very specific things that I had done intentionally in the book, and me going, well, this is what I meant with it. And the smallest things impacted everything. And so I've learned now that I can't go into my comment sections. It's not easy working the job that I do, and I adore what I do. I do it literally all day, all night. Like, I'm in my bed, like on my...
This is giving me strong Meghan Markle vibes. I love working. I love what I do. This is a hard work. Girl, you're not just the singular person doing this. Like, so many other authors go through the same, and they've been working on one singular book for over so many years as well. You're not the only one. You're not the only one going through this, and there are so many other people going through like false cancellation phase, whatever. Like so many people have been through the worst. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but that is my when I can't cope with something, like emotionally, I just cannot cope. I try to think about a moment or a moment in my life or something worse somebody else has gone through, and I just think to myself, it could be worse. It could have been worse, so I should just grieve whatever grievance I have right now and then move on and try to solve the problem. Like, cry me a river. At this point, cry me a river.
Like, on my studio, I'm out there packing and shipping things. My animal, for God's sake, both of them have like constellation collars. Like, that is where we are at. Like, everything in my life revolves around this because it's my special interest, and I'm neurodivergent. This has been my thing my entire life. This is my entire branding as a human. With that passion and with the drive that I have to keep going, to not give up on this because I don't want to give up on my life, I've learned a very important lesson.
I don't want to give up on my life. What the fuck, girl? You need to go to a hospital. This is not okay. Nobody asks you to give up your... I mean, there could be like those people who are like who think doxing is okay. I'm sure there are some people that would send death threats, or like they would say, oh, go kill yourself, whatever. Obviously, they're sick in the head, and obviously you should not be listening to those people. Nobody sane asked you to give up on your life. That is crazy.
Lesson, and that's that it will happen no matter what. But I've been through it now. I've had the worst things that people have told me. I've had some really wonderful words that people have told me. It's just to give a little bit perspective of who I am as a person and what this genuinely means to me. And I hope this can shed some light on what it is truly like to be in this situation. Even though it's wonderful having all of this come in and all of this happen, I've also allocated all of it back into my company. Like, I pay a lot of my employees more than I do myself, because this is, once again, what matters to me. I'm going to keep doing this as much as I can. As long as I can survive, I'm okay. I'll sacrifice everything that I need to in order to just give my stories to other people. People don't see the toll that takes on somebody, and the toll and the stress, and being an artist is a very strange thing in this day and age, being both an artist.
Okay. when she says, oh, people don't see the sacrifices I make, that's basically what she said, like the toll that it takes on a person. Most of the readers, maybe all of them, are also creatives themselves. Like, we all are artists. My artwork is like doing actual art, like the actual like drawing, like artist art. Your artist part is writing. But we all get it. We all get how difficult it is. Like, maybe most of us don't get to make money from the art that we make, but that's because it is hard. Not everybody can handle it. And if some people, like I do make some money, but I cannot sustain myself from just, like I need to do some other work to have the money to put into my art. You are blessed enough to make some money from your art, and now you're coming here crying to me about how hard it is. I'm sorry, I don't even get to do the half of what you get to do. I don't feel bad for you. I don't feel bad that making art is hard for you. I'm sorry, it's hard for everybody.
And an influencer, so I can be an artist. I'm gonna
all of us, oh my God, we all have to do something else so that we can be an artist. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm making this video because I have opinions, but at the same time, I would like to make money from these videos so that I could support my art as well. Everybody is in the same boat, girl. Everybody. You're not talking to finance bros here. We are all in the artist community. Like, we may be doing different art, but we know what you're talking about. We all are going through the same things. Oh my God.
I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you if you made it this far. Thank you for kind words. Thank you for all of those that have supported me along the way and very encouraging things that I have heard. There are so many people, and seeing so many people waiting for me to get back up, that gave me hope. There's people out there that are recognizing like how much heartbreak this has caused and how much devastation in my life it has caused. But I would not be able to do it without the team that I have, without the artists that I bond with, without the people that have stayed with me throughout all of this and been like, no, we're here for you. And that itself is a reason to fight. Fighting to give other artists a voice and to allow them to also live their dream. And
it's not your responsibility to give them voice. What the fuck?
And to give others hope. I want to continue doing that. And I'm going to. I would die before I gave up on this thing. I hope that at least shines some light on like what this all has done to me and how one person, one video can impact someone, especially an artist and a creative. As authors, we should be doing better to support each other. We should be lifting each other up. We should be speaking up for each other in this time where AI is replacing a lot of our jobs and with artists. And we're not. We're becoming competitors because of this market that we have been forced into. Publishers that are quite literally, their companies, controlling how books are distributed, controlling every single thing about being an author. The way we fight it is not as indie authors bringing other indie authors down. It is lifting each other up. There's a lot of potential out there, and a lot of authors, and a lot of readers, and a lot of people who have hope in this day and age. So speak up. Act like an artist. You are allied. Authors are artists, and we have lost sense of that. We have diverged away from that into this is a job and an occupation in a market. So start becoming an artist again. Keep pushing. Because even if something is your will to live and the worst thing happens to it, you can still get back up. I'm not dying yet. I'm not dead yet. And I am not going to give up on it either. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day. Welcome to the world of Guardian.
One thing should not be your will to live. I will die on that hill. A comment says, graphic novels are entirely valid, just saying. You know, As an artist who is new to reading, I've read a bunch of graphic novels, and out of like maybe 20, 30, it's not much. I'm new to reading, okay? Maybe it's not even 20 graphic novels I've read. Out of all the graphic novels I've read, I've only liked 2 of them, like genuinely liked. And that is only because all the other graphic novel arts were good, but like art was good, but the story was bullshit. That is why like I just didn't, I always feel bad for giving low stars, Nala, because I can see how much time and effort they put into this work. But when the story is bad, it's just bad. I'm sorry, like your story needs to be good for a reader to like it. I'm sorry, but that's just the reality. And her art, like her team's art is amazing, but the writing is not. Like, I mean, your world building, your story could be the best that has ever graced the face of the earth. Your writing may not be good, maybe she doesn't even want to accept that, but if you just made this into a graphic novel, this whole thing would have been solved. Like, you have a great world, great characters, and great art, everything is fine and dandy then. Like, what are we still talking about? Oh my god. This pinned video, the second pinned video that she's signing with this smirk in, like, not even smirk, it's just pure hatred. All I see is pure hatred. I'm like, see, my haters, I am still signing books. I'm still making it in life. I'm gonna get on top of the world. All I see is that face. I hate it. And then I'm gonna read you the text that is on the screen. Let's talk about narrative voice, writing style, and psychic distance. This is a book about breaking the rules and overcoming conformity. I write in first person past tense. You are reading a story recalled by my narrator, Rika. This means her internal reflection and emotional response are within the prose. Rika is neurodivergent. Oh my god, look at that. Look at that face, like that dead stare at the screen. That means something, okay? That means something. Her thoughts may be incomplete as she quickly jumps from one idea to the next. This is a direct response to the criticism that she has received. She infodumps about the world's history. It's her special interest. She thinks in fragmented sentences and repeats the same words to process them better, which is normal in a neurodivergent person. So I can see the point, but to me, her expression matters more than always having perfectly structured sentences. You mean good writing? You mean good writing? Do you tell stories without repeating small details? Do you always think and speak with perfect grammar? No, and neither should a realistic narrator. That's what I hear in my head. That's just the bitchy narration. That's the vibe I get from her. I'm sorry. Maybe you're not, but maybe it's my inner bitch projecting, but that's I'm being real. Let your narrators be poetic. Let them change the meaning of words. Let them be scattered and flawed. And that's the end of the TikTok. And there's the comment, which I really liked. This is information that should be told through your book, not in a TikTok. Which is true. If it's not obvious in the book, then you didn't do the character justice. Something this important should be self-explanatory in the book and shouldn't need to be explained in a TikTok. It should be obvious. I 100% agree. Oh, honey, I'm sorry, but no. Everything has to serve the story, and even if the character is first person and neurodivergent, if readers are having a hard time following and not turning the pages, then you are not serving the story or your character, and especially not your readers. Focus on the story, not on signing books. That's all that matters. I wish you all the best, but please get a good developmental editor. Another comment. The book feels disjointed without structure and is completely featureless because my narrator is neurodivergent, so therefore all these important elements don't have to be present in an effective writing because it's her truth. This is such a funny way to discard all the criticism from readers that the book is terribly written. And she replied to that comment, genuinely not sure what criticism you are talking about. Made this video solely to talk about my writing voice, as I've had many people ask about stylistic choices, but not as a criticism. I've had maybe 2 to 3 people make an opinion comment on my writing style. I've had dozens enjoy the story, prose, and narrative. I write fiction in a different way. Art is subjective. Writing is an art, and some people won't like it. She is so close. There's another comment. Misspell something. Actually, I meant to do that. That is so true.
I'll have to wait a day. I don't know if any other authors have this problem, but I've tried to record this like 4 times now. I can't read my own writing.
As a joke, she says, I can't read my own writing. That right there tells me so much. Because according to the other authors, when you're in like drafting phase of your work, you need to read the chapters out loud to yourself to see the cadence of it, whatever. She says, I can't read my own writing as a joke, but I totally believe her. Like, I don't think she has read her work from start to finish. I feel like she's just edited some part and used some editors on some parts, and that's it. I feel like she hasn't.
Guardian, and today I am coming on here to talk about a couple of pretty large updates. We are pushing the release date of the 2nd edition of AOS into March. I'll explain why in a second, but we took a lot of time in the past 2 weeks with everything going on to basically put together an 8-step plan for a revision process. My goal is to get through 1 chapter at least every week, 2 if I can, but we don't want to rush it. So 1 chapter is what I really feel comfortable with based on the structure that we have built. First step in this revision process is that my team has a meeting at the beginning of every week before I start revising.
This should not be public to the viewers. I don't think so. I would love to watch this whole process from the authors that I watch on YouTube. That's been like, they've been documenting the whole writing process of their book. But this book is out, the story is out, it's just shit, and now you're fixing it. We should not be, imagine, remember like how the astronomer CEO got caught on Coldplay thing, and then they hired Gwyneth Paltrow, Coldplay's lead singer's ex, to do a marketing campaign, like to clear their name, whatever. This sounds like the boardroom where they came up with the idea that they would hire Gwyneth Paltrow. Like, we should not be there. We should just see the final result. We should not be in the brainstorming room. We are the consumers. We are not here to help you keep your company going. And our views make her money. I mean, I don't want her to go bankrupt. Like, get your bag, girl. But this is not okay, in my opinion. But at the same time, I'm interested. Let's see what she says.
Revising the chapter, multiple of us have taken feedback from across the internet from a lot of you guys, and we like to discuss the things that are happening in each chapter and what can we do to improve it. This core team is made up of about 6 to 8 people across the arts, across different mediums, and people who have already read the first version of the book at least once, if not twice. The second step that I am taking in this revision process is essentially reverse engineering a writing process. One of my employees is my secondary developer, Solly. I actually get on a call almost every single night for about 3 hours with Solly. And what we are doing is before I start revisions after the team meeting, we then have another brainstorming session. And this brainstorming session is me verbally describing the outline for the revised chapter that I'm doing. So going over scenes, going over plot, and I'm working.
This girl just likes to talk. That's all I'm hearing. She just likes to talk. And, you know, the false productivity phenomena, where you're doing things but you're not producing anything. Like at the end of the day, like you worked the whole day, but at the end of the day, there's nothing to show for it. That's all I hear.
Working through them with my words, actively talking, and Solly helps me to develop, change ideas, shift things around. But what Solly also does is Solly is an artist, and so Solly will literally draw these things while I am outlining and do some concept art for this chapter. I am then writing descriptions based off of that art, which is really, really cool because it's fun to have visuals while you're writing. And the fact that I can have visuals of the things that I am writing is even cooler. Third step, simple.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. What the fuck? How is that your world? You threw out some basic idea and he visualized something in his head. I don't know if Solly's a girl or a boy. I'm just gonna say he drew some things because of the visuals that came into his mind of his imagination, and then you're gonna describe what he drew. Like, how does that even make sense? That how are you a writer then? You like, up until this point I was like, oh, maybe you created such a good world, but your writing skills like lack in that department, but your world is like awesome. Now you're not even creating the world. You're just gonna try to poorly describe the world that's been already drawn. Like, and if the book already has the pictures, like, why are you even describing it to me? You should be talking about something. I'm sorry, I don't understand.
I rewrite the chapter. This I do by myself because it's my writing and my story. Fourth step, the entire team goes over it again. So if there's any changes that need to be made in the storytelling, I'll do that and I'll adjust it. Fifth step, we are bringing on an in-house copy editor and proofreader. This is not just somebody from our audience. We are only hiring somebody with a lot of experience in editing, preferably somebody who has been both in self and traditional publishing. And we're going through a lot of applications. That copy editor will
also, that person does not need to be in-house. They just don't need to be. Like, she is trying to have this company to grow and nurture. It's not the time, girl.
We'll also do some line edits, and after they're done with that, we're going to do a one-on-one discussion and apply those changes. Step 6 is that formatting. So our formatter, Joe, he was the person who did all the formatting on the first edition of AOS, is going to go in and re-put that file into the book format. After Joe does that, it will then go through another round of proofing. So somebody that has not been involved up to this point will go through and look at that brand new finalized chapter to make sure there are no errors in the actual book file. And if that was not enough proofing, we are taking the entire creative team, and at the end of all the finalization, we're going to go through it and check one last time if there are any errors at all. You heard me mention in the last video that there would be some changes in the artistic content in the book itself. And that is because that core team of people that help with feedback and making that outline, while I am revising and while the copy editor is editing, those people love doing the art for this thing. So they're just going to go in and do some really cool things that involve artistic storytelling along with literature-based narrative. So we're incorporating elements such as different like page borders, and we're doing that because there are scenes in the book where like it's a recollection of a memory, and so making that obvious by like art and outlining the page is going to be really cool. We're basically approaching
We don't need to hear any of that.
Approaching this in the most artistic and creative way that we can, between how can we best revise this book based upon what it needs, what do we need for this book, what have we heard from people, and then what can we do to make it extra special and make that storytelling really shine as a team.
don't need to do all
And so
of that.
that is how I built that 8-step revision process. We are completely discontinuing print on demand, so you will not be able to find this book on like Amazon or Barnes & Noble anymore. And that is because when we distribute the books and buy them from the printers, that profit goes directly back into our studio. So for those of you that have been wondering, like, how in the world did I pull this all off? I acted in the same way a publisher would. So I did a lot of research on who do publishers use to print their books, how do they distribute their books, and so I found a method on the TikTok shop of distributing them myself. We buy the books in bulk, so we buy big shipments of like 5,500 books. Unlike an author who has published like print on demand, we retain almost all of our profit from that book, and it goes directly back to my team. So the folks that are working on this with me get royalties. We're taking our time on this next one. We're using the whole creative team, bringing on those in-house editors, so we're incorporating everything that we built up to this point into improving the book. Super excited to share those revised chapters with you guys as we go and really show people the process that we're taking and how to involve a lot of creative minds in the publication of a book and in the building of a larger series that will turn multimedia. We're going to be posting these revised chapters on our Patreon for free, open to the public. Obviously not all of them in the book. That would not be a wise decision, but enough of them to help to rebuild trust in our audience, because I screwed up, and I know, I'm sorry. Thank you if you made it this far. I appreciate the support and the feedback from everybody up to this point. Really excited to continue sharing this world with you and the best way that we can. So, welcome to the world of Guardian.
I don't want to talk more on this anymore. I think I'm done. Like, I'm done watching her, listening to her. I still have to edit this video, so I'm going to have to watch all those videos again. You know, most of the time with creative people, when their work do well, most of the time what we see is that they don't want to give up control and they want to do everything themselves. They want to micromanage everything, which is a detriment to the art. Like that puts the art in a, like that makes the work process even less enjoyable. It makes basically intolerable. We see the opposite. She wants to have this huge team for some reason. Like, no, like in all the comments, like, just write the book. Girl, just write the book. Nobody asked for art. Nobody asked for like special editions. Nobody asked for any of that. I just don't see the point in being so stubborn towards your work. Like, this is your baby. Like, we all can see how passionate you are, but why are you doing this to yourself? Just get better at writing and then write. It sounds like that just reminded me of I don't understand why there are homeless people. Just buy a house. I know just right isn't like, that's not as easy as that sounds, but with all the experience she has, with all the help she has, I just don't understand. And people are saying, why are there a team? Like, a project is so much more like near and dear to me the less other people has put their like opinions into it. Like, if I'm the person who did everything in a project, I have more of a like proud mom moment about that project. But sometimes you just need the help. And writing, just because I'm an artist and my projects are done in, and I'm a digital artist, like I draw digitally. This is not the same for oil painters, but my drawings are usually done not more than 2 days. if not in an hour. I don't, like, my work doesn't require other people's input, but when you're a writer, like, you cannot not have editors. You need to have like other people's input. So I understand there must be a team when you're producing a book. That team doesn't need the artist and this many artists to start with. Like, you may need many readers, like beta readers and proofreaders and editors, whatever. If you want to have an art in your book, you should be fine just with one artist. You don't need to have this whole team of artists to draw you a scene so that you can describe. I'm sorry, but this is just ridiculous. Anyways, that is all I want to say. If I have even more, like, if I watch more videos, I have like even more will come up, but I don't want to talk about it anymore, at least for today. Maybe I will talk about it in the future. I will keep up with her because I want to see where this is going. Even though like she is getting on my nerves, like she has this negative aura for me. I don't know, our energies don't match, but I want to see where this is going. And just because our energy, let me be so fucking clear. Just because our energies don't match and I'm getting this negative aura from her doesn't mean that I don't want her to succeed. I wish her the best. I just hope she gets like tenfold positivity from the work she puts out into the world, because I can see that she is passionate about it. It's just that she needs help from the right people, not from the artist. I'm sorry. You need help from your writing side of people. Anyways, that is all from me. I wish her the best. I wish she comes back from this and does so well for herself that when she looks back at it and she says, whoa, I bit myself in the foot there. What did I do? And I hope that she helps people to not do the same ever again, and she doesn't have to go through this mental low ever again. But let me know what you think, and put a book emoji for the comment of the video. And thank you for watching until the end, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Like in space of months, in a matter of months, I guess, maybe even less. Whatever world you started to build, I will talk for days on end. I will talk hours on end. From an from an artist's point of view, I see like that would send death threats. Anyways,